This is just getting confusing at this point, as Lane Hutson has a highlight reel-worthy game, including this insane dangle behind the net, plus much more. He finally gets into his bag of tricks, yet he was left off the power play late in the game when Montreal was down 2 goals, and it wasn't just crazy decisions coming from the coaching staff, it was crazy decisions coming from the refs, as Filip Gustafsson just holds Slav on the ice. Ryan Hartman sticks out a knee on Lane Hutson, yet Montreal comes out with either a no call or a penalty on both sides. We're going to get into all these wild things, plus a couple of great prospect updates to lift the spirits a bit on this episode of Habs Digest. We're going to get straight into it, guys. I want to bring the spirits up first before we get into this game, because I know a lot of you want to talk about that. I know that for a fact, so we'll get to that later. Hold on for the ride, but I want to first talk about Laval again. Yes, we talk about Laval a lot. Is it hard to be this high energy on a later game after a shutout loss? Yes, but we're doing it for you guys. The Laval Rocket are currently 3rd in the AHL. They won their last game. Logan Mailloux is up to, 12 points in 7 games or something. I don't even know. Something like that. I lost count with him. But he's not the guy I want to focus on. So not only is Laval at the top of their division, 3rd best in the entire league, there's one guy that I think is, what we talk about a little bit, we talk about Joshua Roy a lot. Alex Barré-Poulet's been really good. Logan Mailloux's been awesome. But we talk about this guy, Owen Beck, a bit, but maybe not enough, because I want to just say he's on a multi-game point streak right now, and he's been rolling this season. He has 11 points in 12 games. And again, as a 20-year-old in the AHL, he's basically at a point per game, is incredibly impressive. I mean, don't forget last season, Joshua Roy was around a point per game for a lot of the season. He got his shot in the NHL very soon after. So when you look at a guy like Beck, here's the thing, he's not a guy who projected to be a high-level offensive player, but his offensive game so far in Laval this year has really been incredible. And the decision-making from Owen Beck is something we always knew would probably be there. He's a very smart player, right? And he plays a really solid two-way game. We're like, well, that offense didn't really show itself as much, and whether with Peterborough or Mississauga, though to be fair, after the trade, he did pick it up quite a bit in the OHL last year. As you can see, there was Saginaw, but the thing is, that offensive potential was something that we thought would be a limiting factor. But so far in Laval, this guy has shown that he can be a bit of a hub on offense. Now, he's not your top line guy even in Laval. He's playing, he's played some first line here and there, but mostly second and third line, trying to find his spot. But even despite that deployment, he's at 11 points in 12 games with 3 goals. He's making very smart passes. I can't find the face-off information, so if someone could enlighten me on his face-off percentage, I would love to hear that, because I'm sure it's good. But he's also been incredibly solid defensively, so when if you're Montreal and you're looking to fill a center void that may come from a Dvorak trade after another pretty brutal night from him tonight, we'll get into that later. If you're looking to fill in a center spot, Owen Beck is certainly making his case, because right now he's performing at a very, very high level in Laval, and I'm actually very excited to see how the season continues. So just wanted to give him the praise that he deserves at this point, because I feel like he gets lost in the shuffle of a lot of Habs prospects, but he's doing some special stuff. But it's not just him that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about our boy Oliver Kapanen as well. As we all know, he's back in Timrå now, and in his first game, he sure impressed. That's him there, number 89. This is him celebrating after a one-timer led to a rebound for a goal. So he got an assist here. He got 2 assists in the game, including bringing the puck up the ice and assisting here. It's not his shot. It's his teammate there that's on the ice that scored the goal. But again, he got the assist on the game-winning goal. And so here's the thing. Oliver Kapanen finally back in Timrå, 2 points, as many points as he had with Montreal all season in his first game back in the SHL. That deployment is looking good. He played a lot. He had a lot of ice time in this game for Timrå. He was deployed on the power play. He was out there late in the game when they needed a goal. And guess what? He created those opportunities when he got the chances. And, I just came off talking a guy who could fill a center position for Montreal if there's ever a void. Oliver Kapanen is right up there with Owen Beck in terms of guys that we're looking at in the future to be one of those middle 6, maybe even bottom 6 centers. I don't want to get too high on these guys, but both of them have shown very impressive, very promising profiles to be future forwards for the Montreal Canadiens, because we watched Oliver Kapanen have that incredible preseason. He couldn't quite get his rhythm with Montreal at the NHL level. He looked okay. He looked comfortable. He was getting thrown out on the power play, but couldn't quite make it click. That's fine. Send him back to the SHL. Let him develop. And I truly believe, on this bigger ice, he looks really good already, but I believe that he will be a Montreal Canadien for the long-term future. I mean, this guy just looked way too good to not have him on the team. But again, you got guys like him and Beck. We're kind of spoiled in terms of our depth prospects. Neither of these guys needs to be a star. But to be a good team, you need those high-tier bottom 6 to middle 6 players. And again, if you have Oliver Kapanen and Owen Beck as your maybe 3 and 4C moving forward, if that's what ends up happening, I think you're probably in a pretty good place. So just wanted to highlight those two guys before we got into the game. Now, the game. Well, look, I know we aren't super thrilled with what went down. A shutout loss is never fun, but there were some positives, and the main thing for me in this game was Lane Hutson. That top line, Suzuki, Dach, could not keep that chemistry going from last game. Dach looked like he had some moments, but there were some moments where I wasn't thrilled with how he looked on the ice. Whatever. We'll leave the first line out of it for now. They weren't horribly bad or anything. I don't have the game scorecard. Actually, let me go see if I can find it. Found it. Okay, so here we go. Like, that's the thing. You see Caufield up there. You see Suzuki and Dach and Slaf. The game scorecard does indicate that they did not have bad games by any means. And Guhle, honestly, was the most impressive Montreal Canadiens defenseman, maybe outside of our boy Lane Hutson, who does show up at the very bottom. Team offense above average was not good. However, he had some moments in this game. And look, maybe Guhle was more solid than Lane Hutson this game. Maybe I should give it that. Maybe it's there's sometimes too much of, hey, giving Lane a lot of credit when, the advanced stats show don't paint a pretty picture. But I mean, he's incredibly fun to watch. Before this play here, he had a dangle at the blue line, right? And I'm just going to get into what's making this so confusing, because he had plays like this throughout the whole night, right? He was finally back to his head fakes. He was creating a ton of incredible chances. The whole game, Montreal and Minnesota fans were saying how fun he was to watch play. Yet when it comes down to it, Montreal gets a power play. They're down 2 goals. You're near the end of the third period, and it's just Mike Matheson over and over. These shots from the point. And look, I've been a bit of a Mike Matheson defender, and I'm starting to lose my patience. Here's the thing. He's a much better hockey player than I ever will be. He's better at most things than I ever will be. I'm not going to claim that, I am smarter or I should do better. No, I'm just saying, watching this game, all I'm saying is that our boy Lane Train needs to be on the power play one. I say it every single video, and I'm kind of tired of pretending he shouldn't be there. You see journalists on Twitter saying the same thing, like, your best offensive, the guy creating the most offensive opportunities in a game for you in Lane Hutson is not out there when you need him the most on a power play late in the third period. Yes, he was out there as the extra attacker when the Habs went with the empty net, when they were desperately trying to score a goal before Kaprizov, my other boy. I know, you guys know I love Kaprizov, but look, we'll put that to the side for now. Before he scored the empty netter, Hutson did get his chance, but I don't know, man. That first power play is just not clicking. Hutson got, 15 seconds on the PP2 there at the end of that power play? And if I bring up the box score again, I mean, you'll see him. His ice time is still never bad. He still played over 20 minutes. So Matheson played 28 minutes. Hutson had under 2 minutes of power play time on a night where guys like, Slaf and Caufield and Matheson all had over 4 minutes. Suzuki only had 3:52. But a minute 47 is look, I'm just saying, maybe you don't even have to put him full-time on the first power play. I still think you should. Maybe you just sometimes put him out there, sometimes put Matheson out there. You just kind of go back and forth. We've seen Hutson have some reps on the first power play a couple games ago, or was that actually against Buffalo? It might have been last game. It just feels like a long time ago when he assisted Cole Caufield. I don't remember if it was that game or not. I'm starting to lose track of the games, but he was on the power play with Caufield, and it led to a goal. He creates opportunity, and that's why it's so frustrating to watch this game, to know that this guy has probably the best chance at creating an opportunity for the team. I don't care what the advanced stats say. I know it's what a lot of people say to defend a player that's not playing great, whatever. I know, Leaf fans or Sens fans, I'll have a field day with that. Lane Hutson at the bottom of the scorecard. Habs fans will say he's the best player ever. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Do you see these highlights? Look, I know highlights aren't everything, but my gosh, you can't tell me you watch a player like this and say that he doesn't create offensive opportunity for your team. I'm going to die on that hill. But yeah, that's the thing with Lane Hutson. I'm going to stop my rant because I think a lot of you guys are pretty much on board with me there. But I want to hear your thoughts all on Lane Hutson's deployment in this game, because honestly, it's just very confusing to me. And speaking of confusing, I do want to bring up this final thing. We'll get into the video of this in a second. I just have the picture I wanted to flash up as well. This was the momentum swinger for the game. And, Hartman did arguably stick out his knee on Lane Hutson. I think I said in the hook that he did stick out his knee. Little bit, but it is what it is. But this play was the most confusing to me, and I'm gonna play the video. Now, okay, we're gonna have to watch Lane Hutson highlights again. Oh no, it's gonna suck because I don't actually have the Slaf thing as a separate video. But it was this thing from Filip Gustafsson here. We're just gonna watch Lane. You know what? Okay, we're just gonna sit and enjoy this because it's gonna get crazy. Hartman pushes Slaf into Filip Gustafsson. Gustafsson doesn't see it. To be fair, he's looking at the puck and he attacks Slaf. He mauls him. He holds him down on the ice and he holds him there and he holds him there. And the play is going the other direction, and he holds him there. And Slav cannot move. He simply cannot move. Gustafsson is holding him as Minnesota is going the other way. Now it was a 4-on-4 because Hartman stayed back as well. But the refs just didn't call it. The Minnesota announcers were saying, oh, it's okay. He didn't throw any punches. Good no call. Does holding not exist? Does interference not exist? Slav didn't do anything. The net was off its moorings. Gustafsson got bumped because Hartman hit Slav into him. He holds Slav on the ice, and then Minnesota can just go down to the other end and do whatever the heck they want. It was the most confusing thing ever. But what makes it so much worse is that Minnesota scored on the next play after this, right? In a point of the game where Montreal should have gotten a power play, Minnesota scored immediately after. And it always feels like that's the type of thing that happens. So I'm just super confused by what happened tonight. Look, I don't know. I'm confused by Lane Hutson's deployment. I'm confused by why Montreal's offense just goes off for 7 goals in one game and looks completely anemic the next, especially against the Minnesota team that was missing a lot of notable players on this night, right? Zuccarello went out and he was injured. Eriksson Ek went out and he was injured. Brodin wasn't playing. Even Spurgeon missed a few minutes after the high stick from Struble, which really was that final blow to Montreal, as that double minor led to that goal with 4 seconds left on it from Marco Rossi. But let me know your thoughts on the game. I'm confused. That'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed this video, if you're still watching at this point and you haven't hit subscribe to the channel, I don't know what you're doing. Hit the subscribe button down below. We got daily content, all kinds of game recaps, rumors, trades, all that stuff. This is the spot to be. I'm your host, Josh Gosse, and I will catch you in the next one, hopefully after a W.